Gaming news this week has been good, but not so good, as just yesterday, Stalker 2 announced that it would be delaying again to November 20th. It was supposed to be one of the first quarter games for Xbox this year, and then it got pushed to September, now pushed to November, and a lot of other gaming news stories to discuss this morning. But I do want to talk about that one, because I want to make sure we say that it is a unique circumstance for that development team in particular. And while it is sad to see it get delayed again, I personally think they should just kick it to next year. Don't give us a date. Take as much time as you need, and I would hope that Xbox would afford them that, because I really don't think in the grand scheme of things 2 months is not much time in development timelines. So that's sort of my very quick flyover position on that, and I would love to hear from you guys about that in the live environment. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and all of those things so you're here for these shows. We do an upload throughout the week, and then we discuss it live. But on Fridays, we do gaming news this week. We also talked about the Helldivers 2 update that will be coming in August. I had an upload yesterday where I simply argued I didn't think it was enough, because I think there's other things they're going to want to do if they want a lot of the players to come back. People didn't really respond to that video all that well. Lots of them didn't really watch it. I wasn't saying that it's not enough, like I demand more content. It was more about, like, I think you guys are going to have to really address some of the core issues that made people go away, as well as core issues that will be barriers and sort of like hurdles for new players who have never touched the game, or even returning players, the war bonds being one of those things. And also Modern Warfare 3, brand new season in Call of Duty with Warzone and Modern Warfare 3, and it hit Game Pass. So one of the first signs of the era of Game Pass changing, and we talked about that this week as well. Again, you can check these past broadcasts and uploads if you want my full thoughts on those. Those hit throughout the week. Then there was some new info about the PS5 Pro that hit, sort of causing a bit of a hullabaloo on Twitter. Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming made it sound like, hey, is it not coming out this year? So he published an article where he essentially said the latest information is that it is still on pace for this year. They have a deadline to where after September 15th, all games delivered and shipped to PlayStation 5 need to support the Pro, which means I think there is going to be some sort of an announcement for the Pro in September. Could be a showcase. Could be they do it at Tokyo Game Show. Maybe they do a showcase at Tokyo Game Show. Not sure, but I think that's what's going to be, and then it'll probably release in November, so we can talk about that and, you know, sort of maybe some of your thoughts on it. The No Man's Sky expedition officially started. We're hearing that one of the planets, or the first planet, was discovered by the user Light No Fire, so continuing to see Easter eggs and connections between No Man's Sky and Light No Fire. I speculated early this week that they were connected, that the new Worlds update was somehow going to be tied to Light No Fire. I think we're going to either find it or something inside of No Man's Sky. And then China Joy starts today, and there are a lot of games from the China Hero Project that should be there, like Lost, Soul Aside, and others, and we may check out some of those things. They might not hit during this stream, but just want to put that on your radar. Be on the lookout for some of those trailers over the weekend. I went to the official China Hero Project on PlayStation's site, and man, some of those games look really cool, so make sure and check that out. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, chat. It is Friday, so we are trying to make gaming news this week a segment on the channel every Friday. It's an opportunity to maybe come over anything that we might have missed, anything that, you know, might not have, gotten covered on the channel. Maybe, you know, certain stories, certain things aren't quite front burner, and they don't quite make it onto the channel, and this gives us an opportunity to not skip over those things. And then I didn't really want to do an entire show or upload about Stalker 2 getting delayed, because it is a bummer. It is a bummer to see that happen. But wanted to discuss that with you guys. Also, it is Friday, and we started this stream already with some memberships because we came from Morning Coffee. Remember, if you are a member, you get access to Morning Coffee. I keep doing that. Morning Coffee every morning. And Dark Taco gifted a member as well and sets us up for a 20-bomb dunker, 5 out of 25. You guys need 160 members today, and you can make Creature come play Overcooked tonight. You guys went crazy yesterday and really put yourself into a position to nail that goal today. But the first order of business smash that like button. Make sure you have pressed the like button, and let me know what you think about all of the various things going on. Are there any games or gaming news things that you want to talk about? What do you think about this Stalker 2 delay? Do you agree with me? Should they just let them push it to next year? That was my first response, was like, quit giving us dates. It's clear that you guys have some things you need to iron out and work out. Don't give us dates. Just, pump the brakes and get the thing ready. I think we can afford an extra amount of just grace and understanding to that developer, given everything that has happened. It's like, it's fine. It doesn't need to land this year. I know that's disappointing. I know one of the main benefits and one of the main value offers for Xbox Game Pass is that you get a big game at quality every quarter. And I know it's a bummer that right now it's only been Hellblade 2. Stalker 2 was supposed to be the other big game that should have already been out. But it's like, I would rather wait and rather the game be good. This is why I've continued to say that quality needs to matter more than cadence of delivery. Because if not, you're going to end up with a game that should not be shipped. I understand for holiday sales, but like, why not July through August? Why September? I'm not sure what you're exactly talking about. Oh, you're talking about the announcement for the PS5 Pro. I just think it makes sense. Tokyo Game Show's happening at the end of September. We've heard rumors that that PlayStation's doing a showcase in September, and then that can sort of set the stage for pre-orders in October, and then they can sell the thing and deliver the thing in November. Again, that holiday push. I just think it makes sense to me. I think that's a good time to do it. I believe Stalker 2 will be fine. People that played the latest build said it was great, and Stalker 1 was very successful. Can you tell me who played the latest build that said it was good? Because I saw people saying the opposite. I saw people that played the latest build of Stalker 2 and said it was not good, that it was clunky and had issues. I don't know. It's not like they're bi-yearly franchise or something. Please delay Stalker 2 to 2025. September to December is already so stacked. That was the other thing I saw, Narwaffle. Jez Corden put out a poll, and he was like, hey, with how stacked it's getting now, do you think that, Xbox should delay Indiana Jones or Avowed? He had like a poll you could vote on or whatever. And obviously most people said, no, don't delay anything. I don't know if he's saying that because he knows something's coming. I continued to say that I thought Indiana Jones was going to slip out of this year. It kind of got announced out of nowhere. The dev cycle seems incredibly short for it, and they won't give a date. We also don't have dates for Avowed. So I do think it's interesting. The only date we're getting is Stalker 2, and that one keeps moving, and these other games won't give dates. It's just bizarre. At this point, I feel like it's bizarre. If we don't get dates from Xbox at Tokyo Game Show, which, that's in 2 months. That's not even... I guess that means that neither of those games are coming out in August. So that means they're both fourth quarter, which means you didn't even come close to a big game every quarter at quality. You're just shoving everything to the final quarter, which again makes me think that these games, some of these are going to slip out of the year. I do. I think that might happen. I don't think Microsoft is rushing them. I think money is tight, and they might need to get this game out. I don't know if there's any evidence that the money is tight, but you could be right. That could be the other reason this is going on. Can't remember who said it. The few YouTubers who played it, they did say the 2022 version they played was bad, but a newer build was good. The only person I heard talking about the most recent build was Luke Stevens, and he was like, it's bad. It had all kind of frame issues and performance issues. He was like, it was like, this game is not ready. This game is not ready. We should get Avowed at Gamescom. Yeah. I can't predict. I just can't predict what Xbox is going to do with those titles. I really can't. I can't tell. It's like I can't make heads or tails of what the goal is and what the plan is, because I think it's weird to have two big titles like that, and you just don't have dates yet. I'm not saying like you absolutely have to have dates, but it does seem weird. Like, to me, I think one of the rhythms that I'd like to see from Xbox is every year that developer direct should basically be the roadmap for the year. I think that's fair. It's like, oh yeah, over the next 11 months, or not even 11 months, over the next 10 months, however long it is, if they do it in like February or whatever, just be like, here are the games coming out and here are their release dates. When you're within 6 to 8 months of a game coming out, you should be able to nail down a release date. Other games aren't having this issue. Other games set a release date and hit it. Now, obviously, delays happen. I'm not talking about delays. I'm talking about just not giving release dates. I would like that from them. I don't need it. I'm not being entitled. It's just like, you guys outline all these games. You put up these images, and it's just like a ton of games. And then we have no idea when they're coming, and history is repeating itself as many of those games just end up getting delayed and not happening in the time frame that we've been told they're going to. So either stop doing that, like stop giving us release windows, or give us release dates and hit them, And I don't want games coming out before they're ready either. So it's like, don't speak out of turn either. Don't tell me a game's coming if it's not coming. Don't do it. It's like there's no point into that. Then all you're doing is making the events just basically a barrage of trailers with no good info. Luke's video is what I've seen, so I don't know. I'll sub to Game Pass for a month to try it, and if I like it, I'll buy it on Steam. I think Stalker 2 looks fine, but it's like all we have are trailers. I mean, I think there's been some graphical degradation. I don't think it's maintaining the fidelity and the lighting and the shadows that we saw in some of those early trailers. I thought some of those early trailers were a little crazy, What I'm hearing is shadow drop everything. That's right. Shadow drop everything. Don't give us release dates, just shadow drop everything. That's right. I really hope Indie hits this year. It's one of my most anticipated games this year. I mean, I think Indie looks fine. I don't think Indiana Jones looks, I don't think it's going to be mind-blowing. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be... They've captured the feel of the movies. Like, it feels very, very much like Indiana Jones. But I don't think anybody's going to walk away from it and be like, that was one of the best games I've ever played. I think it's just going to be a fine game. I think very similarly about Avowed. Like, I just haven't seen anything for Avowed. I think the RPG elements and the dialogue elements of Avowed are going to be what people really end up praising. I think the combat is likely where most of the criticism and complaints will be. And maybe there are people that'll be okay with that. They'll be okay with that. They're like, no, that's fine. The RPG elements and the building and the dialogue is what people will cling to. Indie looks like a great Game Pass game. Eugene and Feet on Land both saying the same thing. Looks like a Game Pass game. Yeah. I just wonder what that's going to look like going forward. We talked about that a little bit when we talked about Call of Duty on Game Pass. What that's going to look like going forward. You're not just making games for Game Pass anymore. You're making games for, the buy-to-play market. You're not just trying to, get people to think that, like, oh, man, Game Pass is worth it. You're trying to get people on other platforms to buy these games. You have a distinct advantage when you drop Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves on PlayStation later. Like, Hi-Fi Rush didn't need fixed at all, but Sea of Thieves has dramatically changed from its launch. So when it lands on PlayStation, it's significantly different than what it was when it first came out. There's a huge advantage to doing that. You end up delivering a higher quality product. Well, if you start doing day-and-date releases on other platforms with your big titles, your primary focus cannot be Game Pass anymore. That can't be the focus. The focus needs to be, we need people to buy this game. We need this thing to review well from the users, not just the outlets. How are the Game Pass games priced on PlayStation? Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush? I don't know. I think they were their normal price, were they not? Because I don't think either of those games are like $60 or $70 games. I believe they're like, what was PlayStation Store? Let's take a look. I can't remember the prices of them. I think like Hi-Fi Rush was like $20, wasn't it? I think it's even marked down right now. No, Hi-Fi Rush's original price was $29.99. It's marked down to $18 right now. I would absolutely snag that on PlayStation. It has a 4.8. It has a really good score. This is a really good score. So snag that on PlayStation. It's a really great game. Obviously, if you have Game Pass, play it there. I think it's great. I've been wanting to finish it. I was enjoying my time with it. Sea of Thieves was $39.99. It's on sale right now for $27.99 on PlayStation. Another game that I think is, as long as you can get over the fact that, you can lose a little bit of progress if you get attacked, if you can get over that. Has a $70 game gone over yet? I don't think so. No. Grounded was early access and not a $70 game, and Pentiment was not a $70 game. No. I'm just thinking if you send Game Pass games over there at a discount, then people might be accepting of the Game Pass quality. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do that day and date, Zuby. I don't think, let's say, well, Black Ops 6 is a great example. That one's coming around the corner, and that's going to be a multi-plat day and date release. So that will not be at a discount. Let's imagine that, let's just say something happens and Indiana Jones gets delayed, and we just hypothetically it gets delayed because they want to release it multi-plat. And they release it multi-plat and they charge $70 for it over on PlayStation. Or we imagine that they don't do that. They say, no, make it cheaper. I don't know if you make it cheaper if people would just be like, oh, that's fine. If, let's imagine the game is really, really good. They would be like, yeah, that's fine. That was worth my purchase. But if the game's bad or mediocre, I don't think people are going to be like, well, it was only 50 instead of 70. I still think people are going to be ticked off. They're not going to be like, no, that's fine. I don't know. I think people are more accepting of a shorter game or a smaller game in scope, or a game that might not quite have the quality, but it's not a bad game. When people played through Hi-Fi Rush and they could tell this is a smaller project, I think that's when that lines up with the price. Odd one over there. Right, we're thinking since the merger, Mo, what's it going to look like when a multi-plat game lands? Black Ops 6 will be one of the first, because MW3 doesn't really count. MW3 was planned to be DLC for MW2. Activision Blizzard made the decision to change it into an annual release. All that happened before, and I wouldn't lay any of that at Microsoft's feet. MW3 was a freaking joke, and it has nothing to do with Microsoft or Xbox. I would not attribute to any of those problems to Xbox. That was Activision Blizzard's doing. That was a terrible, terrible choice when they did that. I wouldn't worry about Stalker 2 and GOT anyway. What's the second game you're referring to? While buying is still an option, I'll support Game Pass and PS Plus Premium. Sea of Thieves is an industry leader in pirate games. Game Pass has quality. Everything else is not the same, and that's okay. I'm not sure what you mean. When you mean it has quality, you mean saying it has quality games? People will pay the $10 to have a better experience. They aren't your run-of-the-mill cheap date on Twitter. I'm so angry at that campaign. It's so bad. Bought MW3 and it's still sold. I mean, but you're not really saying anything. They even cited Call of Duty Vanguard was one of the worst received Call of Duties in the history of the franchise, and it still was a top-selling game for the year. So MW3 still selling. Again, I don't think you're communicating anything, and you're certainly not defending how awful it was. Everybody tried to claim. Not everybody. A lot of people tried to claim that the MW3 scores were people that were being anti-Xbox. I have no respect for people saying that. I think they're completely delusional. It's come on. That campaign was a joke. It was not a full campaign. It was ridiculously short. It was padded with these open combat missions. Just be honest and just say that something's bad when it's bad. Just be honest. It was bad. They sold DLC at full price. I don't respect you if you can't say that. I mean that. If you can't say with a straight face, MW3 was DLC sold at full price. If you can't admit that, I don't respect that. I don't. That's so not honest. Can't defend it, didn't play it. It was awful, Mo. It was so bad. MW3 is the best multiplayer to date. I mean, I don't care about that. That doesn't matter to me. That's not what happened. They didn't sell multiplayer. And besides, the multiplayer, it wasn't even new maps. Overpriced, yes. Bad, no. No, it was bad. It was bad. The mission design was poor. There were glitches. There were bugs. The open combat missions were so obviously slapped together. It was not good. It was low quality. It was low quality. You can't just say, oh, the only thing they did wrong was that it was overpriced. Even if that would have been $40, I'd have been like, this is not up to the caliber of Call of Duty content. It isn't. Modern Warfare Reboot is excellent. MW2 is good. It's not amazing. It's good. It was a solid campaign with really good voice acting, really good cutscenes, really good setups. MW3 is bad. It is so obviously not ready. I didn't care about that. You're clearly the minority of COD customers. I mean, that doesn't take away from my opinion, though. If you're trying to denounce my opinion by saying I'm the minority of COD customers, I don't really care about that. Going along with the majority doesn't prove anything other than that you like something popular. That doesn't mean that they didn't sell DLC for full price and that the DLC was low quality and not well built. It was bad. It was a terrible treatment of that story as well. It wasn't even a good culmination of all the things that they did with the characters. There wasn't even a good culmination with everything they did with the characters. You brought all these classic characters back. It was terrible. It really, really was. I think Black Ops 6 is going to be... I think they're going to break records. I think Black Ops 6 is likely going to be one of the best-selling CODs to date. And I think the campaign looks awesome. Really. You never cared about the COD campaigns? If you don't care about the COD campaigns, that's fine. They tried one time to ship a Call of Duty without a campaign, and they've never done it since. They've never done it since. So clearly, the campaign pulls to some degree. It clearly matters to a certain degree if they tried one time to sell a Call of Duty without a campaign, and then they never did it again. They rebooted the Modern Warfare series. It's never had good multiplayer all the way back to 2019. Broken spawn point system, skill-based matchmaking. Yeah, I didn't play MW3's multiplayer. I played the campaign, and it was atrocious. It was atrocious. And the story development, I can't believe anybody... people defending that game, I don't even know if they played it. I honestly don't. Now, if you're saying that the multiplayer is good, then great. You know, they got the multiplayer right, and they made people happy there. But even that was a lot of reused maps. That wasn't a lot of new content. Why would they go through all the effort of making a campaign if it wasn't required? They aren't out here doing people favors. It's business. Yeah. The campaign is a part of the huge draw and demand of the games. It is. So, to act like the campaign doesn't matter, it's like, well, tell that to the fact that they only tried one time. Once. And now it's like, no, they do. And I mean, if you look at the Black Ops 6 campaign, it looks like they spent a lot of money on it. It really does. It looks like it's a big budget project. I don't think it's going to be some like rinky-dink little 3-hour tour. I think it's going to be a solid, probably anywhere from 6 to 10 hour campaign, I would guess. They're usually not extremely long. I think that, a first-person shooter campaign can get long in the tooth. There's only so much you could do, but I think it looks really, really good. MW19 was not phenomenal. The multiplayer sucked. And the competitive scene was worse than Black Ops 4. Well, I think when people praise MW 2019, I think they're praising the campaign. People are acting like we didn't see what happened with no campaign for Battlefield as well. Yeah. I mean, you cannot brush aside these campaigns. I think they stand tall. I think a lot of people buy the game for the campaign. I do. And I also think I wouldn't be surprised either if like the prominence and the popularity of Call of Duty Warzone has played a part in that. Like you can go play multiplayer for free all the time, anytime you want. And when an annual release comes out, part of the draw to paying for it is give me a good campaign, right? That's part of the draw. I don't think the lion's share of the community is like, oh my gosh, I can't wait until they release another annual release so I can play the arena, for a year, and then then it doesn't matter. Like, so many people are just living in Warzone. You have to keep in mind that MW3, that a substantial part of the workload for the campaign team didn't exist. They had the same engine and assets all ready to go for 3. I'm not sure what you're saying, Parasite. I'm trying to understand it. That doesn't make sense to me. That a substantial part of the workload for the campaign team didn't exist. They had the same engine and assets all ready to go for 3. COD should be 50, same garbage every year. I think for the longest time it was worth the purchase. We got good campaigns, good story, good cutscenes. For a really long time I felt like that was true. I didn't play Vanguard, but I played MW2. I remember playing the new Black Ops. I thought Black Ops 1 and 2 were great. I thought they did a good job with them. I think Black Ops 1 is like one of the better campaigns. I think it's probably the best campaign that they've done. And that's why I think Black Ops 6 looks like it's going to be a resurgence of that. It's going to be a resurgence of, Black Ops 1 and 2 are two of the most popular Call of Duties to date. I think Black Ops 6 is going to be up there with them. I do. They have a much broader reach now. They've got all the Warzone people that are going to consider buying it for the unlocks and stuff that they typically tie them together, And I do. I think the campaign just looks really, really nice. If you think about the people who are playing video games right now, they're in my age bracket, and we all remember that era of time. We remember all those people. I'm going to test something out here. Let's see if this is working. Good morning, citizens of Earth. That's right. Yes, it's working. It's working. It's working. All right, let's see. Yeah. Anyway, $2 super chat tip from Will Broke Boy Lewis. The campaign was the best part of Call of Duty Vanguard in my opinion. Guys, if you haven't done so, take a quick second, smash that like button. We're talking gaming news this week. A whole lot of things happen. We're talking MW3. It hit Game Pass. We're talking about, Stalker 2 got delayed again. There was Helldivers 2 news and a Helldivers 2 update that's coming in the beginning of August. PS5 Pro leaks, a No Man's Sky expedition. And also, this, you guys got to hit 160 today. You crushed it on memberships yesterday. 160 members today. If you want to summon creature tonight, we're going to be playing Overcooked. And you guys hit like over 200 members yesterday, putting yourself on the doorstep. Architect 4K says, I smashed that button. Thank you. You're most interested in Black Ops 6 zombies? Yeah, the zombies seems like, again, that there's a whole side of the game that like I've just never been a big fan of. I've always liked the campaigns. The No Man's Sky expedition started already, Parasito. Yeah, I think it started yesterday. Yesterday or the day before. And the first discovered planet was discovered by Light No Fire, so I definitely think they're laying groundwork for the two to be connected. And a 5-bomb from Parasito takes us to 10 members on the day. He's like, all right. He's like, if that's what we need, he's like, let's get started, boys. And there it is. Kumi says, I tried MW3 for the first time through Game Pass yesterday. Didn't try the campaign, but I did have a good time with the multiplayer. However, it seems like a decent amount of players are already using hacks. Yeah, I couldn't speak to that, but if you like a good, decently strong, Call of Duty campaign, yeah, I definitely think that it does not hit that level of quality. Yeah. Did you see that maybe GTA 6 might be delayed and came out last night because of the screen writers strike? Are they a part of the strike? Are they one of the companies that are having the issue with it? It'd be weird if voice acting and voice lines and all of that wasn't done yet. I mean, I guess sometimes that stuff does run up all the way until they go gold. So yeah, that strike could certainly affect it. And Silent Spartan gifts a 5-bomb. Let's get this little 5-bomb member train going. You guys will be to 160 in no time. 15 out of 25. Setting up a 10-bomb dunker. Thank you, Silent Spartan. See if anybody picks the 10-bomb to take us to 25. Every 25, I give 5 to say thank you to the people that are so generously supporting the channel. You think the story for GTA is not done by now? A lot of times the voice acting, they like, a lot of the times the voice acting is happening like up until they go gold. Yeah, so the story could be done, but yeah. Parasito, don't use the question command for stuff like that. And Silent Spartan sets up his own 10-bomb dunker, and we are now at 25, well on our way. There it is, first 25 of the day. First 25 of the day, thank you very much. And I will gift the 5 that I owe once Silent Spartan's 10 members are out. I need to reach out to Rockstar. I'll do some voice lines for them and be a scab. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, we still haven't had all 10 yet. It's just 8. What's going on? I might do my 5. Sometimes that jars it. I'm not sure what's happening. Let me go ahead and try and jar its memory. Guys, if you haven't taken a quick second, double check that it's saving your like. Let's shoot for 200 likes really early in the stream. Appreciate you guys so much. It's been confirmed that GTA isn't affected. The commentary, new or early development games will be affected only. Okay. Mocap, voice performances, rewrites, all kinds of stuff still go for a game over a year away. Strauss Zelnick did not save us. What am I looking at here? The last sentence. This could lead to further delays to everyone's most anticipated games, such as Take-Two's Grand Theft Auto 6, slated for next year, which analysts have already deemed could be 2025's biggest hit. The Union confirms that GTA 6 is one of the affected games. Take-Two declined to comment. I'm not sure, Donnie, where you got your info, but Barrier just put that in the Discord. It looks like GTA is going to be one of the games. Then Eurogamer saying it's unaffected. So we're getting conflicting reports. GTA 6 unaffected video game acting strike. Contract terms appear appear to state. Oh, so they've already managed that expectation with that game. Okay. Well, there you go. I love when we have to treat YouTube like a mildly senile donkey. Sometimes it just doesn't show all of the members and they still get them because the member count will go up. So I want to know how much GTA 6 will sell in the first year. Oh, I don't even know. That's going to be wild. But it looks like GTA 6 is unaffected. So Donnie's claiming what Eurogamer's reporting. So I'm not sure where Barrier's screenshot has come from. So let's take a look at what this looks like with a really, really big username. Lone Wolf, really long name, test to help Lono, etc. Thank you so much. Says, do you think it's concerning that Dragon Age also doesn't have a date yet? I don't know. I'm always torn on this because when a game is going to sort of surprise everybody all of a sudden, like all of a sudden Veilguard showed up and they're doing all their marketing. They promised to sort of trickle out marketing all throughout the summer. And a 20 bomb from Quintar takes us to 45, right on the doorstep of 50. Unbelievable. 160 is what you guys need today, and guys like Quintar are helping make that a reality. Thank you so much. If you guys haven't done so yet, be sure to smash the like button. That costs nothing. It is free to hit like, and it helps us out. It helps us meet more people. Thanks for being here today. Stonespire slams it home to 50 with his own 5 bomb, and we're now sitting there halfway to 100. Thank you so much, Stonespire. We're basically a third of the way there already. And a 5-bomb from Silent Spartan. That's Agent of Chaos work right there. He blasts us past. That's 55 out of 75. Tempting a 20-bomb dunker. We'll see if somebody wants to help out Quintar. I think most devs are holding out on dates because there's a lot of scheduled for the fall and winter. I think that's well stated, Will. Yeah, I think they're kind of waiting to see, like, goodness gracious, the calendar is full. You know? That is very full. I mean, that's definitely a consideration. You gotta time your games right. Magic Dolphin says, yes, we need to witness creature suffer tonight. That's right. Assume Parasite submits a question. How do you feel about Marvel Rivals recording voice chat? I mean, Xbox already does that. I'm fairly certain that PlayStation already does that too. Doesn't seem like something that isn't already happening pretty commonly. And Belphegor with a 5-bomb takes us to 60 members on the day. Thank you so much, dude. Moving it along. You guys are trucking now. Got a bit of a member train going. So far, the biggest games in 2025 is GTA 6 and Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, COD's been doing that, right? Yeah. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. With the new consoles and stuff, says Miyako Best Girl, a lot of devs in general are waiting because it would be kind of awkward to be selling a game on the Switch 2 when the Switch 2 isn't even announced yet. I mean, that is maybe a part of it. I don't know if the Switch 2 is playing a role for some of the game. I mean, maybe. I don't know, though. Which game in particular do you think is like holding off on a release date because of the Switch 2? And a 5-bomb from Von Raz puts us 10 away from 75. Thank you so much, Vaughn. You guys are really cooking. Man, it's a 5-bomb member train. So a lot of the game devs, a lot of the games are ready, but they literally can't announce. So what games are you thinking of? You think they're literally like, yeah, we can't say anything? Why wouldn't they just announce their game, and then when the Switch 2 comes out, they would announce for Switch 2? Is Marvel Rivals using the same system as Overwatch? If so, saving or recording voice chat when a user reports another user for abuse? I don't know if that's how they're doing it or not. I mean, I don't particularly care because all the platforms are doing it. They're all recording what you say. You know, if you think they're not listening and recording what you're saying, I don't know. That's... They've got TOS, they've got rules, they've got people paying to be in the game and to play the game, and they want to protect them from losers. You know, there are people out here that'll say terrible stuff, and they don't want to have that kind of nonsense in their game. I mean, here's the thing about, having your voice recorded in a game. I don't have any idea what you're worried about. What are you going to be saying? If you want privacy, then, I don't know, talk in person. If you're on a phone or you're in a party chat or you're in game chat, you cannot have some semblance of expectation of privacy. I just don't think that's a reasonable expectation. They're using their service to communicate with other people, and they have rules about what you can and can't say. And you don't think they're going to be like, listening in and recording, at least if you're reported? It doesn't bother me. I was just curious if the person who brought it up initially knew what system they were using. I don't know. I'm not sure if they're using the same system. Raven says, if I gift, I still can watch all of your streams. Oh, if you get gifted... The only thing you can't watch if you're on a gifted membership is the green room on Friday afternoon. That's a segment you don't get access to. So on the voice thing is what I'm saying. So too, like, so it's like I don't. No, man, so listening in on me. If you're using their game to talk to other people or their service to talk to other people, I don't expect I do not expect them to not be actively listening and recording for certain things, especially if you get reported. If you go on some tirade and you say a bunch of horrible, offensive things, they're going to save your voice chat. They're going to be like, all right, let's make sure this is real. You know? I know my phone listens to me all the time. If I mention wanting a new Secret Lab chair, I 100% am getting Secret Lab advertising. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I would work with them, by the way, if they had a high back mesh chair. I don't like the racer chairs. If they announce and say available on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, but they know that they are later on going to be on the Switch too, it would be unfair for Nintendo to change that later and be like, yeah, also this. Why would that be unfair? I don't understand why that would be unfair. Months later, because sales have already been made on the other devices, likely. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just questioning if can you think of specific games that you think right now are not putting out a release date because they're waiting for the Switch 2 to be a thing? Like, can you? I can't think of any of the games. I mean, maybe Dragon Age, because of the graphical style that they went for, maybe it could run and be on the Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know. I think anything public should not expect privacy, but if it's a private, like a Discord call, it's none of their business. Yeah, probably. I would think. But again, I just don't know. I don't know what terms of service you agree to when you use Discord. I think that's generally true. I don't think Discord would want to even have the infrastructure to do that. And a 20 bomb from MASH takes us up to 85. He's the big swinger on a regular basis, man. He swings the bat at members. Unbelievable. I didn't want to call him a swinger. That's not what I meant. But you know what I meant. You do. Quintar, welcome back on a Member Plus. Renewing Member Pluses and VIPs. That counts as well. 86 members on the day. Thank you, Quintar. You're agreeing to Discord, TOS, or whatever else. Yeah. I think that's the biggest problem is it's just like you're using their service, and then the minute you do that, you agree to what they say you can and can't do, which means they might, they might pull the records. I don't know. Discord's starting to dabble in AI with their latest TOS to allow any and all voice in Discord to be recorded for AI training purposes. Jeepers. Maybe Mash is a swinger. He might be. Rich Rod gifts a member. Thank you so much, guys. The single gifteds add up as well. Don't let the big boys scare you off. If you gift a member or you're paying for your own membership, it supports this channel directly. I'm able to do this full time because of people like you. Silver Subaru does a single gifted. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We also have, and this is a really easy goal to hit, okay? This is a really easy goal to hit. Everybody who gets a gifted member, you can upgrade for $1 and be paying for a Member Plus, okay? And we want to get 1,000 people at Member Plus or higher, and we'll do celebration weekend IRL streams with me and my wife. We'll use the phone. It'll be very different vibe than this. But we got to hit that number. That means if you are on a gifted or a $5 membership, you can bump up for $1, all right? If you're like, oh man, I love getting gifted, thank you so much, I can't afford it right now, we love you. Then just keep doing that. Keep showing up and keep getting the gifteds. But if you could afford $6 a month, you can help us hit that goal. And it's an easy one to hit because there's so many people getting gifteds every single month. To be fair, Discord's been doing that for a while. Not for AI purposes, for rule enforcement. Oh, okay. Raphael McCoy. Where's the upgrade link? There is an upgrade command. If you try to do it on iPhone, it is really, really difficult. It's easier to do on desktop and Android. Another single coming in from Raphael takes us to 89 members on the day. Thank you so much, Raphael. We've known about Wolverine since 2019, but nobody knows when it's coming out. It hasn't been announced anywhere. Yeah, that's not what we're talking about, though. Like, I don't care if you come out with a teaser and then never say anything about it ever again, right? That doesn't bother me. If you want to do one teaser, I'm okay with that, you know. That doesn't bother me in the least. I think it's totally fine to be like, hey, here's this awesome teaser trailer, and then they go quiet for a really long time. That's why I was irritated with the State of Decay trailer. It was like we got a State of Decay trailer like 4 and 5 years ago, and now nothing. Oh, yeah, and the Wolverine trailer was not 2019. Wasn't it 2021? Yeah, it wasn't 2019. You're saying we've known about Wolverine since before 2019. That's not true. Didn't that teaser trailer hit in 2021, or was it 2020? I can't remember. I think people need to look at voice chat as talking in public. There is a similarity. In public, you release all your privacy rights because, again, you're in a public space. Same with voice chat, for sure. It was 2021. Yeah. Yeah. I don't care if you want to do a teaser trailer for your game and then we don't hear about it for years. That's fine. And MASH comes in with another 20 bomb. Unbelievable. And pushes us over 100. That's 109 members on the day. Gee-many Christmas. And rounding it out nicely, Stonespire comes in and does a single and takes us to 110. People have memory hold 2020 and 2021. Yeah, Muckwine Ninja gifts a member. Thank you so much. Takes us to 111. I don't mind one teaser trailer. I mean, if you guys are kind of debating about like hearing about a game and then not seeing it or not getting release dates, that doesn't bother me. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to drop a teaser trailer or an announcement trailer. That's totally fine. Like, I'll give you an example. Blade. They gave us a cinematic trailer for Blade, and we have no idea when Blade's coming out. I'm fine with that. What I want from Blade now is nothing until you're basically a year or less away from releasing. A year or less. I don't need to see you again. I don't need to see Blade every year for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I don't. It doesn't do anything for me. You've announced it. I know you're making it. I know it's coming. Do not talk to me again until you're about a year away from coming out. Like, if PlayStation did that every year, and they're like, here's another Wolverine trailer, I'd be like, get the frick out of here. It doesn't do anything for me. A single gifted comes in from Rissick and takes us to 112. And another one comes in from MASH to 113. This guy's dropping 20 bombs and doing single gifteds. What a maniac. Okay. Yeah, because I'll get it myself because I'm doing the show with Mike. Okay, that's fine. I'm not making the argument that it's not okay to do. I'm just saying we simply don't know. Yes. And I'm saying, Severin, it's okay for us to not know, but if you show up every year with a game, I start to get irritated. I'm like, what are we doing here? I don't need a cinematic trailer from you every year. Stop wasting your time with that. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing? If you're finally going to show up with the release date and show up with gameplay. You know, and a single gifted comes in. Stonespire does 2 back-to-back. I know what he's doing. 115 out of 125. He wants somebody to do the 10 bomb. Silver Subaru is going to turn it into an Agent of Chaos. We'll see if anybody takes the bait. And T Mangrove takes it for 5 and takes us to 121. And MASH takes it to 122. An absolute tour. It's a freaking member train. 123. Another one from Rissick. I can't even talk to chat. People keep pushing the button. I think it's worth pointing out that regardless of all the arguments the Xbox guys have been making for a while, never did pan out to help Xbox. It's insane to see them keep going at it. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Critopsy. And an Agents of Chaos 5 bomb comes in from MASH, taking us to 128. I don't even know how many members I owe you now. I'm going to have to go back and see how many that I have done. If you're going to demand my attention, you better make it worth it, says Eugene. If they show different stuff each time, I disagree. They should have radio silence for the majority of the development. Yeah, I don't need to see a new cinematic every year. I just don't think that achieves anything. And a 20 bomb from Quintar takes us to 148. You guys are like, we are never letting Creature off the hook. You need 160 and it's happening. This man's night has been claimed. Well, at least his evening starting around, 9:30 or so. People in chat were talking about Wolverine. I was just saying we don't know when that's coming. Could be next year, could be 2 years. Oh, no, I agree with you, Severin. A lot of people were doing that with Wolverine, Severin, and I told them, I was like, stop that. We have no idea when it's coming. They're like, no, yeah, Wolverine's definitely coming in 2024. Insomniac's been cooking. I'm like, no, don't do that. We have no idea when Wolvie's coming. And another one comes in from Stone Spire, and another one. Stone Spire walks us all the way to 150 single-handedly, and there it is. The 10 bomb from, I did a 20. Oops-a-daisy. I hit the wrong button. A 10 bomb from MASH takes us to 160. 161. Mockwine Ninja does another one, and a $5 super chat from Street Shadow says, there was a time when developers and publishers showed trailers every year, and gamers hated it. That's why groups like Sony don't do that anymore. Let's get the exact count for the week. We got to add 203 and then 161. You guys are at 598 members. You are 2 away from the goal to summon Creature. We wanted 600 members on the week. Now remember, we raised the goal because we are making it easier to hit. If you guys renew your member pluses or VIPs, those count in the total. So there's a lot of ones in the total there that have been consistently bumping the line on renewals. And we want to say thank you to the people that do that. We really mean that. That's excellent, consistent support of the channel. And Zubair does one of them. He does one of the 2 members needed. And we hit 162. Until Insomniac makes an official announcement, I don't think it's fair to them to hold to those expectations when they haven't shown anything. I agree with you, Severin. 100% agree with you. 163. There it is. MASH seals the deal. None other than MASH himself sealing that deal. No, I agree with you, Severin. Listen, I said it to both sides. I remember last year, at the beginning of the year, it was like 2023, I don't know what month it was. People were like, oh no, Hellblade 2 is coming this year. I'm like, no, it's not. The dev cycle's not been near long enough for that. Are you crazy? And then people did that with Wolverine this year. I'm like, no, you guys are nuts. It's not coming. It isn't. The dev cycle's not been long enough. You're crazy. Wolverine 2026. Mo, I think you're right. I think next year is going to be something smaller. Maybe the rumored Venom game. I'm still curious where the Spider-Man 2 DLC is. I really am. Maybe a Spider-Man 2 DLC is going to be like Burning Shores, and they're going to leverage things on the PS5 Pro, and they want to wait for that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what Insomniac's doing there. I honestly think a bunch of things got kicked down the road because of the PS5 Pro. I do. By the way, if you guys want your question to be featured right here, okay, for the next hour, we're bringing back Q&A. You can use !question. That's a command. You type !question and then just type your command. Nightbot will grab it and I can put it right on the screen. Gaming Q&A Whatever you want to ask me about gaming, if stuff happened in the week, if stuff's coming, if games, trailers, whatever, let me know. Spider-Man 2 DLC has been strangely absent. I was shocked that wasn't something that they had in the state of play. Maybe Spidey's too big in their mind. They're like, no. They're like, Spidey's too big. If you're going to do Spidey's going to be at the showcase. PS5 Pro doesn't exist. I mean, I'm assuming you're trolling at this point, Mo. It's been verified that it is actually real and exists. What's the Q&A command, says Critopsy. Yeah, that's what it looks like when you submit a question. There it is, Critopsy. What's the Q&A command? There you go. Please, guys, I know you think it's fun. You're going to get it taken away really quickly if we troll it. If you troll it, it's not going to be enjoyable. So let's not troll the question command, all right? Astrobot looks like it will be awesome, but I love games like Zelda, Immortal Phoenix Rising, Spyro, and Banjo. Yeah, I think Astro looks like a blast. Don't put a space, Severin. It's just exclamation point question. It's like any other command in chat, right? When you type exclamation point merch or coffee, it's the question command, right? Venom at Showcase, book it. I don't even know if Venom is real. I don't even know if Venom is real. Verified by Sony. Insiders verified actual dev kits are in circulation, and they verified the documents are real. Yes, like it's real. It's like it's not fake at this point. To try to argue that the PS5 Pro is fake, I honestly think, I feel like you've got to be trolling. You've got to be. Shelly, if you don't get a response from Nightbot, then just copy paste. Just do it again. You guys have to get a response from Nightbot or your question will not show up. Parasito with a question here. What is your view on Sony still not unlocking regions for Helldivers and for future, like the PSN requirement for PC and for God of War? I honestly don't know what they're doing with the region lock on Helldivers. I don't. I think they have completely mismanaged that situation. They have completely mismanaged that situation. I don't know what they're doing. It's frustrating. It seems so needless. Now, as far as, what do I think about going forward? I think they're going to require it going forward on all their games because I think they're potentially going to release their own launcher. That's what I think. I think their goal on PC is to make it to where you want to be in their ecosystem. PS5 Pro doesn't exist until I see something from Sony, just like the secret showcase. Well, with all due respect, Mo, your position doesn't really need to be respected because it's kind of, you're being silly. I don't feel like you're being serious. But with all due respect, there's a big difference between PlayStation talking heads starting rumors about a secret showcase and insiders saying, we have verified the dev kits are in circulation. We have verified these are the stats in the dev kits. This is the information. These are real documents. We're not dealing with a rumor mill podcaster. We're dealing with people who have actual contacts at these developers. Like, these documents have been verified. Like, the dev kits are in circulation, So, Eugene says, just like God of War Ragnarok wasn't confirmed to be released in that year. Yeah, you played the same game with God of War Ragnarok, Mo. We remember. You're like, it's not coming. It's getting delayed. Silent Spartan submitted a question. Do you think more developers will build forward compatible modes into their games to account for pro models or next-gen consoles? I don't know. Hey, D the Great, I don't think your question got through. Let me have this pop down here. Yeah, D the Great, you're going to have to resubmit your question. You and Ron Slusher both claimed Q11, and his got it and yours didn't. But yeah, like Silent Spartan, I think you're going to see a lot of developers leverage the PSSR technology because My theory is that the PS5 Pro has that proprietary technology for upscaling, and their real goal, according to the documents from Insider Gaming, their real goal is 4K 120, 8K 60, but that's not what they're going to shoot for on the Pro. I think that's what they're going to shoot for on the 6. Because what that does is it builds cartilage between the systems. Like cross-gen support's easier when you do that. So there will be, I think, forward-compatible thought put into games that are designed for the Pro. Yes. So, Tom Henderson, I don't believe him at all. That's fine. Nobody believed him about the Q Lite. I think you were one of those people. You didn't believe him about the Q Lite, and it was real. He has contacts. He does. The PlayStation Portal was real. And when it came out, he said, do you guys believe me now? He's got contacts. He does. He's proven it. He's proven that he has verifiable, solid, good intel on these subjects. He's got somebody somewhere. So you don't have to believe him. You don't. I mean, the track record on that particular insider and what he's been pulling out and what everybody's been saying about his claims, he looks great and everybody else looks stupid. So if you want to go to Team Stupid and be like, Tommy Hendy doesn't have sources, I don't believe him, that's your choice. You can put the stupid jersey on. I think he's trustworthy. I think everybody's that's thrown stuff at him and insulted him and said that he doesn't have sources, I think they all look incredibly stupid. Because they are. I think they're dumb. It's like you're playing for Team Stupid. These people have sources. They're not rumor mill. They're not clout chasing. They're not out here trying to get you to watch their podcast. You know? They got solid intel. They got insiders. So. Severin Evans with a question here. My favorite game of all time is Conker's Bad Fur Day for Nintendo 64. Don't you think Xbox and Rare should do something with that IP? No, I don't. I don't think there's high demand for games like that. I think when you go back to that far in the nostalgic backlog, I think the game's gonna struggle. I really do. I think you're gonna struggle. I think I'm not saying that I don't want them to do that, right? I'm not saying don't do it. Don't go back and do Conker's Bad Fur Day or Banjo-Kazooie or like all these games people throw out. Listen, I'm here to tell you, there's no demand for them. I just don't think there's any demand for those games. That era is too far long ago. They're trying to go for, broad market appeal. And if you're going to do something that doesn't have broad market appeal, I would imagine you would do something new and not something old. So you won't be getting native 4K FF16 on the Pro at 60. Who said they were going to be getting native 4K anything? That's not what the PS5 Pro is promising. Did somebody say that, Paul? The PlayStation 5 Pro is not promising native 4K. It's got proprietary upscaling technology, which means you would never be looking at a native 4K image. You'd be looking at an upscaled image. That's the whole point of the device, is that you can then not waste a bunch of resources trying to do a high-resolution image. The upscaler will do that for you. So anybody that thinks they're going to be getting native 4K on the PS5 Pro doesn't understand what the technology is meant to do. If it's not 007 or Perfect Dark, it's going to flop. I mean, let's be honest. Even Perfect Dark, the trailer that we saw, if people play Perfect Dark, it's not going to be just people playing for nostalgia. They're going to play it because it looks cool. Like, the Perfect Dark trailer was dope. Like, I don't think that the Perfect Dark draw, when that trailer hit, I don't think people were like, oh my gosh, it's Perfect Dark. I mean, guys like me, certainly. Guys like me, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. But I think anybody else that saw that trailer that was unfamiliar with Perfect Dark, they were excited because it looked cool. It looked like a fun game. Like, I don't necessarily think you bring back Conker's Bad Fur Day and have like a ton of people excited. I hate to be that guy. I think a lot of those old games, they're beloved and we think fondly about them, but I don't think companies want to go back there. I just don't think so. I don't think there's demand. You got to have demand for the product. Another question here. This one from Shelly. Can you guess how many people have played Suicide Squad's new season? I'll reveal the answer. It may surprise you. I'm assuming, I would guess it's not a lot. You thought The Perfect Dark was the jankiest looking trailer of the show? I thought it looked cool. I also think it was rendered gameplay, though. Wait, why are you guys educating somebody about what the Q Lite was? What the heck is a Q Lite? Oh yeah, the Q Lite was the code name for the PlayStation Portal. When Tom Henderson said that PlayStation was going to do the Q Lite, like a portable, remote play device, everybody called him an idiot and said they would never do that and that was stupid and there's no way and it's fake, and then it was real. Like, I'm telling you, You're betting on the wrong horse if you think Tommy Hendy's out here just lying, that dev kits are in circulation, that he's verified that the documents are authentic, and that this is what the PlayStation 5 Pro is aiming for. Like, if you're betting against him, I mean it. You're on the stupid team. You're playing for Team Dumb. He is proven to have really good, reliable sources and information. He's not out here as some rumor mill, clout-chasing podcaster. He's not these guys on Twitter that repackage 4chan rumors and try to chase clout. He's not doing that. He comes to the market with information. He doesn't come with speculation and rumor. If you're betting against Tom Henderson, you're stupid. I mean it. That's not an insult. That's an assessment of your intelligence. I'm assessing your intelligence. If you bet against Tom Hendy, you're stupid. So, you can choose to be stupid. If that's what you want to do, I think that's a real low level of intelligence. To be like, the guy keeps getting everything right, clearly has reliable sources of information, and this will be the 8th time in a row we claim that he's not telling the truth or there's no reason to believe him. Go right ahead. Pathalon Phoenix with 5 gifted members takes us to 168. Doesn't matter, I'll only believe it when it comes from PlayStation, that's all. Right, and you said the same thing about God of War Ragnarok, Mo. You said that God of War Ragnarok was going to be delayed and that you didn't believe it was going to come out until you saw it. Do you do the same thing with Xbox titles? Do you? I love you, Mo, but are you consistent? You just, for some reason, were like, yeah, Ragnarok's not coming. I don't believe it till I see it. Are you doing that with all these Xbox titles that don't have release dates? It's a valid question. The platform most consistently not releasing games on time. Are you confident they're going to release games on time? At quality? If you're consistent, then great. But like, I kind of feel like there was no reason to think that Ragnarok was going to be delayed. We didn't have any reason to think that. There's no reason to think that Tom Henderson's not telling the truth. We don't have reason to think that. Your doubt and your skepticism should be rooted in something. Like if I say, yeah, I don't think that game's coming out this year. Why? I just don't think so. No, I would say, well, based on a pattern of behavior, based on these things, based on things developers have said, like I would have reasons to say that. So if you're going to say, I don't believe Tom Henderson, and you don't have reasons to back that up, that's not a reasonable position. It's just blind skepticism for no reason. I don't care about the Pro. I mean, I'm not saying you care about the Pro. I just don't understand why. Like, I always want to know why. Why do you why do you not believe is a good question, right? Why would you not believe the man? You know what I mean? Will Broke Boy Lewis with a 5-bomb takes us to 173. I'm not saying you have to believe him, Mo. I'm saying, what are your reasons for not? That's what I want to know. Like, why? The dude's been so consistently right. You have more reasons to believe him than to not. So I'm trying to understand the position. Is the position literally just, I don't want PlayStation to have something good, so it can't possibly exist until they say it exists? Like, what is it? What's the reason? 175 on the day. Thank you so much. 2 more singles coming in from Will Lewis. How is it a problem? I won't say until I believe it, until PlayStation says it. I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm saying you haven't provided any reasons. If you can't provide reasons, then the position is flimsy. It's like, well, I don't believe that's real. Why? Well, I won't believe it until they say it. Why? Well, I just won't believe it until they say it. Like, okay. Guess the number I want to figure, keep in mind. Steam number yesterday was 500 players, so what do you think? I don't have a guess, Shelly. I don't even have a way of guessing how many people have played the new season. Sony hasn't had a showcase yet this year. Okay. Do they need to? I mean, I think they're going to do one. I think they should do one every year. That's something that I would like, but they clearly don't care what I think. Like, I thought they should have ended the state of play and said, hey, we're doing a showcase later this year. That's what I thought they should have done. You know? You nailed it, Lono. They're trying to manifest a world where the Pro doesn't exist. Yeah, it just feels weird. It just feels like denial. It's just willful denial. It's like, the thing is existing. So instead of just talking about the fact that we know that the thing exists and we know that it is coming out, the entire conversation gets sidelined. It's like, well, I don't think it's real. What? Why not? Because he doesn't work for PlayStation? That's why I don't believe him? You know, it's interesting that that's your measure of trust, Mo, because I seem to remember when God of War Ragnarok was set to come out and people from Santa Monica had said that they had played it, had said that it was ready, and you said, I don't care until it's announced. It was like, so now it's like, oh, well, he doesn't work for PlayStation. If he worked for PlayStation, I would trust him. These people worked for Santa Monica and you didn't trust them either. Seems interesting that your measure of trust just moves, you know, just all over the place. You didn't trust people at Santa Monica who had said that Ragnarok was ready to go and playable, that they had played it. You didn't trust that. They are at the company. They worked on the dadgum game, and that wasn't enough. You didn't trust them. And now your measure for not trusting Tom Henderson is, well, he doesn't work for PlayStation. Okay. Doesn't seem consistent. Hilly says, do you think the Game of the Year award categories need to be overhauled? I don't know what you mean by Game of the Year award categories, so I'm going to read your question as, do I think the Game Award categories need to be overhauled? Because there's not like multiple categories for Game of the Year. So I think some of them do need to be overhauled. Yes. Yes. I think some of the categories are weird. I think some of the categories are like ongoing, but then it can also be DLC. And it's like, what's that? Indie category had titles in it that were like, you know, published by major publishers. Mo says, I was trolling then. I'm always going to crap on anything PlayStation related. Great. And there's no reason to interact with you. Next question from Ron. Everyone hated MW3 last year. Why this week does everyone claim it's awesome? Well, I'm not quite sure what they're claiming. I've had a lot of people say that they think MW3's multiplayer is actually really good. They actually think it's quite good. But the campaign is just bad. So it depends on who you're talking to. You might not know, like they might be saying, oh no, it's good, it's fun, and they could be just honestly talking about multiplayer. If that, like genuinely, like if that's what they're saying, then I would take them at their word, because Call of Duty fans are pretty critical of multiplayer. So if the multiplayer is getting some praise, then they must be doing something right. You know, I can only comment on the campaign. The campaign was atrocious. It was a joke. So, DK Bager, Agent of Chaos, taking us to 176. I don't even know how many members I owe you guys at this point. We're going to have to figure it out. How many did I do? I got to go to the fan funding page. Hang on one second. How many have I done? I did one there, and that's it. So what I just need to take the total and just subtract 5. I've only done 5. So I'll just subtract 5 from whatever I owe you, and we'll just do that. D the Great with a question here says, did the leakers screw up the Spidey DLC and Wolverine Progress? Well, I don't think the leakers can screw anything up. All the leakers did was, and they weren't leakers, they were thieves. It was data theft, and they tried to ransom it. I don't know if they got it wrong. We just didn't know what we were looking at. We had like 4 different roadmaps from Insomniac, and they all looked different. It was like, I don't know what any of this is. It's like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Is this stuff coming out? Is this stuff been scrapped? Is this stuff coming? There was no way to know. It was all over the place. There were multiple roadmaps that showed Spider-Man Online was coming for Spider-Man 2, and then Wolverine Online, then X-Men Online. We don't know if any of that is still happening. So I don't know. It would be weird for there to not be any DLC for Spider-Man 2. I think that would be odd. Kelly says it's 20,000 as of the mission I played, and it's leaderboard, so a lot higher given the Steam peak was 5,000. Just shows how console base be showing up. I don't think 20,000 people. I don't think 20,000 people playing that is impressive, Shelly. Mash, you're going to have to resubmit your question. Nightbot said error connecting to remote server. If you guys don't get a response from Nightbot, then he did not grab your question. So, Jiraiya Music says, do you think the long development time for Hellblade 2 had to deal with the poor reception? Like there was a ton of hype and it didn't follow up? It didn't have long development time. What are you talking about? Its development window was incredibly short, arguably too short. They're a small team, and in the middle of 2021, they had not yet entered full production. That game didn't even get a full 3 years of full production. You know? Windsor says, the PS5 is $650 here in Canada. How this economy is and how times are, pretty hard sell when I'm sure 800 or more for niche spenders. I don't think the PS5 Pro will have trouble selling at all. Paul says, Spider-Man 2's DLC will be a shadow drop at the showcase this year. You think they're going to shadow drop Spidey DLC? It's a lot more than I expected, said Shelly. If only you'd have guessed a number, I may never know. I had no frame of reference to guess, Shelly. Shelly, come on. Come on, Shelly. I had no way of guessing. Barrier says, I think we know Spider-Man Online has been scrapped. Yeah, I don't think it's coming. Yeah. What question are we on? Looks like 16 or 17. Sneaky Wolf says, oh no, what was the turning point in your life that made you decide you wanted to cover gaming as a career? I I figured out that I could. So I was doing my small business and streaming. And there was a morning where, this was back when I just streamed Destiny full time. There was a morning where I was getting ready to go to a networking meeting. And I looked at the directory and I knew I could be directory lead for a couple of hours. Like, I just knew that I could. I knew I could go, boot up, play Destiny, and I could be at the top of the directory and be directory lead for a couple of hours. And that was the day I said, I'm done. I'm not going to this networking meeting. I'm not pursuing new clients anymore. That was the day I kind of said, this is it, I'm going. And then there was another day where my wife sent me a screenshot and I was higher ranked in the directory than one of the former directory leads. That didn't sit well with them. It's one of the reasons I got targeted for a lot of nastiness. But I knew at that point as well, I was outpacing and outperforming people that I had previously looked up to and now had no real reason to for other reasons. But it was like, oh, I'm outpacing people that I thought, I would never even be in the same hemisphere with. So I think those two moments are the most memorable moments where I was like, yeah, I can do this full time. Now, covering variety gaming, well, I mean, everybody wants to do variety gaming coverage. Some people get there and they earn it. Some of us get kicked out of the boat and just have to figure out how to swim in the deep waters, which is what happened to me. So I was no longer a single game content creator. I was a variety content creator. And at the end of 2021, we brought the show to this channel and only had 5,000 subscribers. So I basically started over 3 years ago. Yeah. And 3 years into my streaming career on Twitch would have been 2018. And around that time, things started to pick up for me. So it was around the same time that, like, 3 years in, things started to pick up for me because everybody kind of abandoned Destiny 2 and I stuck it out. You have a muscular bod now. Thanks to all that swimming. That's true. One of the directory leaders now streams to far less than 100 people. Yeah, I mean, I don't do comparison. Like, comparison is the thief of joy. So, like, I don't really care. But I think people generally got what they deserved. And, I think you can see them for what they are. I don't think it's difficult. So, I don't really look over that fence anymore. I don't feel like I need to. So, next question's from Parasito. He says, should rights holders for digitally licensed content be subjected to public domain releases sooner than normal? Is there some other way to prevent games from being lost to time or greed? This is a really good question that I have never really thought about. Yeah, I actually don't know. I mean, I think in general, there needs to be efforts for game preservation, and I don't know where they could come from. Because thank you, Ant, for gifting a member. If there's no money, then the companies aren't going to do it. I don't know why you guys are getting an error connecting to server situation. Let me check on something here. We definitely can get more questions. Yeah, it's not a question of, I'm not sure why Nightbot's freaking out. Kelswiss, I'm not sure why you're unable to submit your question. It could be something in the formatting of it. I don't know. Do you have any unique, like, characters in your name? It just looks like Kelswiss Sony Light. It doesn't look like you have any unique things in there. So, in the realm of game preservation, Parasito, I don't think any of the companies will do anything unless they can monetize it. If they can't monetize it, if they can't make a buck off of it, right? Then they're not going to do it. So you would almost need the government to come in and say, you know, public domain releasing of a game or whatever. So then you could legally, if you could legally then emulate a game or like copy a game, I would think that you would need the government to say when that is. Because you're not going to get companies to care about this. I've said for a very long time with emulation, like, I think they could monetize it. I think they could make a storefront where, like, the original rights holders would then be able to make a percentage, but you'd have to build the infrastructure. You'd have to, like, basically make whoever does the emulation, you know, get a cut. I don't know how you do that. So, Shelly asks a question here and says, do you think gaming discourse will forever be toxic, or will multi-plat future AI, rise of social platforms, new aging demos clean it up, rise of Reforge Gaming, etc.? Oh my gosh. I mean, this obviously gets into... I don't think you can answer this question without getting a little philosophical and, like, anthropological. I think you have to talk about, like, the human existence and the intersection of human existence and technology and what it has magnified. And I believe that toxicity and tribalism on these platforms is an innate, instinctive part of humanity that is magnified by the technology. So I actually don't know if that will ever go away or calm down. I don't know. And my view of humanity and, you know, my view of, like, technology and the tech integration that has taken place with people, I believe people will become more and more mechanistic and more tribal. They'll be more and more binary. Now, I don't think everybody's doing that, but I don't think it's going to go away. You know? I also kind of think, like, what Eugene's saying is important to remember, you know? If you go to the right places, you don't hear that nonsense. I do think there are people who are more sensible and not driven to just, you know, mouth-breathing, drooling tribalism. I think there are people that want to have sensible conversations, but you think it will get worse? Yeah, I believe entropy will continue. But I also think that Twitter is not necessarily the trajectory of... I don't think Twitter is the trajectory of the internet. I think there will always be... I don't think this will ever go out of style. I don't think you will ever have... Yeah, Kel Swiss, you just can't submit questions for some reasons. It's got to be something in your name. There's got to be something in your name. Like a unique character. We've had this problem before when people have weird names. It, like, won't take questions from them. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that, like, people are like, oh, the internet's dying, content's being made for algorithms and bots. I actually think that will serve as a threshing process, and it will self-implode, and the genuine content and the genuine people will prevail. But I also think that you will see a rise in toxicity, yes. So, like, I don't know if you can avoid on any of these platforms. I don't know if you can not have some level of measurable entropy that, like, things will continue to get more and more disordered. I don't know. Users can't have quotes in their names. Well, I mean, Lone Wolf does, and Lone Wolf gets through. So I'm not sure why it's stopping Kel Swiss. Severin Evans says, you don't think Conker would be in demand? Banjo-Kazooie, sure, maybe not, but Conker was special in the way that it wasn't just a kiddie platformer game. The multiplayer was also COD before COD. I mean, I never want to yuck someone's yum, You know, like I never want to be like, oh, I don't think so, that's trash. So I'm not trying to yuck your yum. I don't think the businesses would assess the demand of Conquer and bring one back or do one. I just don't think so. No. And I'm open to being wrong about that, but I just don't think so. You know, certain properties maybe, but not that one. You know. Dalton Burrows submitted a question. He says, do we have too many live service games? I don't think the industry can support much more than one per genre. I think they require too much time and money for just one game. Well, thinking that the industry can't support more than just one genre doesn't really align with reality, because PUBG, Apex, Warzone, and Fortnite are all very successful battle royales. So, yeah, your question didn't go through, Barrier, because you did it at the exact same time as Assume Parasite. So if you don't get a response from Nightbot, it will not go through. You can't hit it at the exact same time. You basically have to try again. If you and somebody else both do it at the same time, you gotta try again if they're the ones that get a response. Yeah, so I don't know if like, oh, we can only have one per genre. Like, I think we have evidence that that's not true right now. But I also think live service games have to consider the fact that there are only so many players. There are only so many players, right? Like, you're always going to be trying to get a portion of the gaming public to play your game at a regular interval, you know, because you want to make money off of them. And the likelihood of making money off of somebody in a live service game goes down the less they play and the less often they play. So, the question is running out of the joystick in the bottom corner of my screen. You just have to turn off annotations then. The joystick should not be there all of the time. I mean, we don't need that watermark. I don't care for it, to be quite honest with you. Where is that? Entire video, custom start time, end of the video. All right, I just switched it to end of the video. The joystick shouldn't be there all the time now. Or yeah, you can just turn annotations off, but some people don't know to do that, so as demonstrated by this conversation. So I just made it so it's only at the end of the video. It doesn't need to be there the whole time, I don't think. Anyway, Stone Spider submitted a question. Did you ever finish Cyberpunk? Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't finish the main game. I finished Phantom Liberty, and that was good enough for me. I got like 25 hours out of it. I really liked it. It was one of my top games that year. So, Mash submitted a question and says, Mr. Matty recently did a vid about AI in games, especially with Microsoft looking to integrate Copilot and generative AI. But isn't it a solution to reduce game budgets? How concerning is it? I mean, I don't think that AI is a concern if it is there to assist and help and supplement. But at the same time, I think you also have to get concerned about, it's like procedural generation in my mind. It's in a similar category. Procedural generation can be very helpful. Procedural generation can also be leaned on too heavily, and then your game feels vapid and uninspired and not handcrafted. I think AI is very similar. You look at AI art and you can instantly spot the AI art that's like almost not at all any parts of it are original. And then you can look at art pieces where you're like, that looks incredible. And they're like, yeah, I did this. It's a mixture of both me and AI. I think it's very much in the same vein of how companies can use procedural generation. Some games can use it and it makes the game feel just like nothing is really there. And then other games can use it and it feels like, I think No Man's Sky is an example of it's well done. And then there are games where it's not well done and it makes the game feel empty. It makes the game feel like, okay, all the size is great, but, you know. Crisco, yeah, submits a question. Years ago, did PS2 and PS3 have any Pro version? No, PS4 Pro was the first time that it happened. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not seeing y'all's questions. Hang on a second. Hang on. I'm fixing it. I fixed it. Wait, what are we on? Oh, here we go. Von Raz submitted a question. With the Pro coming later this year, do you think games like Bloodborne would be remade for the Pro, or will Sony wait for the PS6? Oh, homie, I don't know. My opinion on Bloodborne is that I think there was a remaster, and then they stopped. And then I think they're planning a remake. I think that's why we keep getting conflicting reports from, like, the insiders, because I think maybe they were originally just going to do a remaster, and then I think the Demon's Souls remake sort of made them rethink what they could do with the title like that. But I don't know. I think a lot of it's probably just early stage sketches and plans, and nothing's actually happened yet. I don't know. It could always be this crazy surprise thing that they're just sitting on and somehow keeping really, really quiet. But we had guys like David Jaffe saying, like, he had a source that's never wrong that's like, oh no, it's coming. So, Master question came through twice. I'm going to skip down here to Severin because it was the question about the co-pilot thing. Severin says, do you think PlayStation and their dumb move is that severely impacted player numbers on Steam? I stopped playing right after that and haven't returned to the region since the region is still an issue. Yes. This has impacted player numbers significantly. Now, the player numbers were already going down. They were already going down. But they certainly expedited some of the drop. I mean, like, you literally blocked regions from playing. That's going to hurt. You upset people. That's going to hurt. Right? And they did right, and then the number came back, the review score bounced back, but it still is pulling good numbers on Steam. For, what was it, like a week or two ago in July, it was 5th in unique logins for Steam. It was still in 5th place, hanging out with Destiny 2. That's still pretty impressive. Now, obviously, they've dropped from 1st place, and they were above Counter-Strike 2. So, clearly, a lot of people stopped playing. If you have enough unique logins to be ranked above Counter-Strike 2, and now you're in 5th place, a monstrous amount of people have stopped playing. But they're still in a respectable position. I don't know what they're doing with the region thing. I don't get it at all. Is there a wire cross somewhere like, hey, we're not requiring PSN, unblock those regions? I really, truly don't know. I don't think the PSN linking had any impact. You can literally look at the Steam charts and see that it did, Shelly. I cannot agree with you at all. I think it's easy to demonstrate that PSN linking caused the player numbers to drop faster. You can look at the charts and see it. I mean, it's noticeable. It was already going down, so it's tough to know by how much. But yeah, it did. So, speaking of Shelly, Shelly says, regarding AAA Sony games, what games will be announced in your opinion for 2025? If you have more detailed idea when next year, like quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, when you say AAA Sony games, I think you're asking about first party. My best guess is we are getting Ghost of Tsushima 2 next year. I think it's going to be at the showcase. I think it's going to be a PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced game. And that's the only one I have a strong feeling about. Everybody else, there's just no way to know. PlayStation's incredibly hard to predict right now because they leaned very heavily on... Oh, I'm sorry, Kel Swiss, that was your question. Sorry, Kel Swiss. Shelly asked it for you. I think right now it's really hard to predict what PlayStation's going to do because they lean so heavily on third-party exclusives this year, and it went really well for them. The sales were great, the reviews were great. So to me, I don't know. I don't feel like I can reliably say what I think they're going to do. I've continued to feel like once the PS5 Pro is in the market, we're going to get just a steady delivery of first-party games. Because all the we know they internally delayed first-party games at the end of last year. And they're not showing up right now. So the only plausible theory I can come up with is they basically punted a bunch of games and they kicked them down the road and said, we want you to be PS5 Pro enhanced. So once the PS5 Pro is in circulation, perhaps the rhythm of first-party presence will be greater. Because even last year, they were happy to just primarily do Spider-Man 2 and the Forbidden West DLC, and that was basically it. And then you had Final Fantasy 16, and then you had the PSVR 2 Call of the Mountain. But generally speaking, they were like very light on first party last year as well. Some of that's because they knew some of that's because they knew Spider-Man would carry the year. And some of that's also because, again, I think they delayed stuff. I think they shoved stuff out of the year. It didn't land this year. And then we're getting these reports that PlayStation distributed the dev kits for the PS5 Pro, and they're like, hey, we want games to be optimized for this. We want games to have the Pro Enhanced label. I feel like if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, man, it's a duck. They're punting games down the road for the Pro. So, is Q&A just a Friday thing? I think we're going to try and make it a daily thing near the end of every stream. Silent Spartan is asking me, what is your game of the year so far? For me personally, Stellar Blade. I loved it. I really did. I had so much fun with it. It was Helldivers 2 until I played through Stellar Blade. Ronin's not even close. Prince of Persia would probably be up there as well. I really loved that game. It was like the best it was like the best Metroidvania I played since Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Very, very good. Very, very good game. So, a question from username ? Do you think Nintendo would name their next console Switch 2 or something stupid like Switch U or New Switch? I feel like Switch 2 is just so marketable. So marketable. Like, you see Switch 2 and you know what it is. Now, I also think they could call it the Switch HD. Because you've seen a couple games come out with this HD thing getting added to their name. What is it? Luigi Mansion HD, right? Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, right? So you have the Nintendo Switch, you have the Nintendo Switch OLED, and then you would have the Nintendo Switch Lite, and then you would have the Nintendo Switch HD. That's my only other guess. I think Switch 2 is very marketable. There's nobody's going to question what it is. But here's the issue. If they're going another round with another Switch, I don't think they want to usurp the first one because it still does so incredibly well. So if you have Switch, Switch Lite, Switch OLED, Switch HD, you like blur the line. It's like, yeah, the games, they're all hitting everywhere, but the HD versions are over here. Like, I'm not saying that they should. I'm saying I could see Nintendo thinking that that's a good idea. They don't want to undercut the OLED, the Lite, and the original Switch. They would basically just expand the Switch, offering. Essentially, what they would be doing is they would be creating a continuance of the Switch that you just go to the store and you pick between all the ones that they have. Because again, the standard Switch and the Switch Lite, they do really, really well. And the Switch OLED, they do really, really well, Again, I think there's a simplicity to just saying, this is the Switch 2. But when you do that, you essentially you don't invalidate, but you sort of quickly expedite people not caring about the light, the OLED, and the original Switch. It's like, okay, those are going to have to now, like, basically lower in production and demand. I don't know. I just think it's weird that there are games now showing up with the HD attached to it. Like, what's that all about? What are you doing? Why are you calling that game such and such HD? You know? That's my only other guess. To me, it's either like Switch 2 or Switch HD, you know, some kind of a name like that. And if they go Switch HD, it'll essentially be something to the effect of like, they're not replacing the Switch. There's just a newer one that's better in the same way that the OLED's better, but different. Yeah, I like Super Nintendo Switch. I do. I like that. The issue with that, Lono, is that they've never used a 2. No, you're not wrong, Lone Wolf. They've never done that. They've never been like Switch 2. It's always been Wii U, Switch. Like, they've changed the name, for sure. That's why I'm telling you. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it's something like the Nintendo Switch HD or the Nintendo Switch Super or Super Switch or something like that. It'll be something like that. Like, I think 2 is really marketable, but they don't seem to like to do that. I think that's a good observation that they don't typically do that. So. Yeah. I like Super Nintendo Switch. I do. Assume Parasite submitted a question. Will Bloodborne ever reach 60 FPS plus on PlayStation console in the next 5 years, in your opinion? I basically already answered that a little bit ago. I don't really have any strong predictions on Bloodborne beyond what I already said. Another question from Barrier. What are your predictions for Concord's release and post-release roadmap? Do you think they'll actually decide to go free-to-play before release or maybe after? This is a great question. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I look at Concord and I just see nothing but trouble ahead. They did not get a ton of people to play it when it was free in Steam. It feels like every part of it, it genuinely feels like there's just nothing about it that has any staying power. You know what I mean? To me, it would be like if a really, really heavy-set guy told me that he was really, really fast. I'd kind of maybe doubt him, but then I'd be like, okay, yeah, I bet you are really, really fast. Like if he was describing to me like his workout regimen and what he did with his legs and this and that and the third. But I would probably look at him and say, I don't think that you could run for very long. Right? Like you're not going to run for very long. You're like, if it's like some obese person, you're going to be like, yeah, no, you're going to run out of steam. I'm not being crass or unkind. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I look at Concord and I'm just like, I mean, if I assess how far I think you can go, it ain't very far. Fast, could they get a bunch of people excited and playing and talking about it for a month or so? Yeah, maybe. Can it go for a really long time? No. You got a really spry friend. He's really quick. He's really fast, but he's a little on the heavier set side. You're not going to go and play soccer with him, You might have a little foot race just for the fun of it, but if you play a game of soccer, homie's going to get winded real quick. So I just think I look at Concord and I'm like, yeah, I just don't see it. I just feel like the game's just going to completely gas out and be like, what? Who's playing that game in 2 months? I just don't see it. I don't. Oh, we aren't playing soccer with fat people now? Right. There's sprinters and there's marathoners. Right. And I see Concord as a sprinter. It's just going to be fun in a little short spurt. Yippee skippy. Had some fun. End of it. I don't think it'll be a marathon. All right. Mike's ready when we are. Let's do these last couple questions. Let me get set up with Mike here. Don't submit any more questions. If you do, I will not read them because we're going to stop after the next 3. Dalton What is your favorite obscure, lesser-known game or series? For me, it's Earth Defense Force. Killing giant bugs, robots, dragons with goofy, cringe dialogue is a blast. Well, for a long time, it was lesser known. Hellblade 1 is like my all-time favorite game. I absolutely love Hellblade 1. Also lesser known is the first Ori game was lesser known for a little bit, and now it's not lesser known. A lot of the games I ended up liking that were lesser known are now more popular, like Hellblade and Ori. Sundered, a lot of people don't know Sundered. Sundered is really, really cool, and it's lesser known. It's from Thunder Lotus. They're the ones that made Spiritfarer. And also, Sundered has a co-op edition that they made that is really, really cool. So you should definitely check out Sundered if you like Metroidvanias. It has a little bit of a Souls inspiration, a little bit of a Rogue inspiration, I should say, not Souls. A little bit of a Rogue inspiration where you kind of go back to the beginning, but you don't go back to the beginning, right? It saves the bosses that you've cleared. It saves your skill tree that you've invested in. So Sundered is not as well known. Brilliant, almost like a hand-drawn art style. Boss design, super, super dope. Super dope. So, Narwaffle says, what are some of your most anticipated games? At this point, I would say the most anticipated game out there for me is Light No Fire. I'll say for announced, it's Light No Fire. For unannounced, it's Ghost of Tsushima 2. Yeah. For announced games, I would say my most anticipated game is Light No Fire. For unannounced, I would say Ghost of Tsushima 2. So, Carlos submitted a question here and says, hi, Reforge Gaming. Do you think COD will boost subs of Game Pass and sales of the Xbox consoles? Yes and no. I'm on record as saying that I think Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will set the record for new Game Pass subscriptions. Currently, that record is held by Starfield. I think Black Ops 6 will steal that record. I think you will have the most people sign up for Game Pass in a single day, and Black Ops 6 will bring that about. I do not think it will boost game sales, console sales, I should say. I don't think so. I don't think they're connected. Yeah, I don't think Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will make a bunch of people suddenly buy the Xbox console. I just don't think so. Call of Duty is so firmly rooted in PlayStation. I don't see that shifting anytime soon. So. Good Q&A though, good questions. In about 5 minutes, we're going to be going to a show with Mike and the real Sticky upgraded to Member Plus. Thank you so much for doing that. Listen, I know it's not easy to upgrade to Member Plus. YouTube makes it really hard, which doesn't make any sense at all. You're trying to give them and me more money, and they make it a pain in the rear end. We are trying to get about 400 to 500 people to upgrade from standard membership to Member Plus. So consider doing that. Hang on a minute. Okay. Ghost of Tsushima, overrated, overhyped. I don't really think I care that you think that. I mean, don't play it then. It's one of their more popular breakout franchises. I feel like you've done a fairly regular amount of just kind of spewing negativity in the chat. So, I mean, I guess if that's what you want to add to the conversation, that's your choice. But, you could probably have, better things to say, I would think. All right, let's see here. We got Star Wars behind the scenes, navigating the underworld, 10 minutes of exclusive gameplay. All right, we got some good stuff here. I don't want all these people. They got like people talking. Yeah, I think I'm just going to use the 10 minutes of gameplay because it's not, they don't interrupt it with a bunch of freaking people talking. Try and just get some good B-roll for the video. Oh. Okay, let me get Mike on the phone. Let me also mute. Yeah, Chrome is muted. Pop this out. It irritates me when people can't keep their staff out of the gameplay. That's right. What's up, Mike?
What's going
on? It's always so weird. Why am I here?
Feels like an eternity since I've been on.
I couldn't even remember. People were like, how long has it been since he's been on? I was like, I don't know. I feel like it's been almost 2 whole months.
Well, no, it hasn't been that long, but I went on vacation and then I came back and then my air conditioning broke, so I couldn't do anything. And then I went on another vacation. So I was gone for like 3.5 weeks. July just completely just vanished.
Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. I need to change the overlay. That is the Kirk overlay that we use on Monday. Where is the one?
Mash, I don't think Kirk can grow a beard like this. No offense to Kirk, but
he's not old enough yet.
I'm messing.
You know? Not old enough yet. Here we go. All right, and then I think...
Just kidding, Kirk. We know you don't want to grow a beard.
I think I have a Star Wars Outlaws overlay. Maybe I don't. Oh, I do. Oh, but the overlay says that you'll be Kirk. Hang on. I think I have a generic one for me and you somewhere. I don't save these scenes, and I should.
What's going on, Chad?
Yeah, this isn't even saved.
Why don't you just make a separate scene instead of doing what you do every time?
Well, because the crops stay the same, I just swap the image. So like that's actually easier than having like so many scenes. But like he made adjustments to the crops with the new one. So now like the old one for me and you with B-roll.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah,
it doesn't line up.
Way to go, creature.
Well, the new ones are better. The new crops are better, but I just don't have an updated one. Yeah, Shelly, I'm just going to be a lot better with Q&A. In the past, I would get like a little flustered or whatever if I got like repeat questions. I just straight up tell people now, I'm like, oh, I already answered that one. I'll just move on.
Yeah, absolutely, Mo. I'm not in the mood to really farm anything in the First Descendant at this moment, but I'm going to try No Man's Sky this weekend, and there was another game I was going to try. Oh, I was trying to get into Marvel Rivals and play that a little bit.
What do I owe you guys? So, 25, I would owe you 20... I owe you 30. I owe you 30 members. You know what? I'm going to do that when we get into the new stream. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 30 members when we get into the new stream. You guys can hang out and talk with Mike for a teeny bit. I'm going to quickly take a break, and we're going to get into a show about Star Wars Outlaws. Is it actually looking better? Because looking a little rough there from some of the new stuff. And I haven't.
It's not a filter. It's just a crappy webcam. See, Lono uses an actual camera, and I'm using a webcam, and that's the difference of quality between his camera and mine.
Well, and here's the thing: if I did, I mean, this is. Oops, that's not what I want. I just made you really, really big. This is what we're gonna do, guys. This is how we're gonna do it right here. No. I'm just gonna show you the difference.
Oh yeah, if you show the camera that you're using in Discord.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna show them.
Yeah.
So this is what happens. You know, when you go from webcam to, you know, like it's a huge difference. So, and I think, you know, at some level, I miss the days when I was just webcamming it up. It's like you don't have to worry about all this other stuff.
Right.
Just simple, man. I miss those days to a certain extent. All right.
What's the webcam you're using? What webcam is that you have? Is it the C920, whatever it is?
Yeah, I think it's that. It's like the very first one I ever got. I still think. I think it's that.
That's
one.
what I have. Yeah.
All right. I'll be right back, chat.
Gives you a tan without the fly. I actually am tan, but the I guess I could. If I change the lighting, right, it changes like the skin tone color. But I am tan, except for my. If you notice this, I could blind you with that, right? See, so you can see how tan I am. That's that Florida sun for you. No, you definitely can't handle it, Z. You don't want me in HD. You'll see all these potholes and crevices. Go on, Jones. Yeah, for his OnlyFans. I only have one fan, you know, so don't really do much content over on OnlyFans. I am, L. Yeah, I'm Italian. Well, half Italian. Half Irish, Scottish. Well, I guess half Italian, quarter Irish, quarter, yeah. No, Mo, because I'm not black. I don't know if that's hard to tell. I'm going to try to play Fallout London. I don't have any... I have to buy Fallout 4 on PC, Anthony. I just don't have time. There's just so many games that I want to try and go back to. And this is why I kind of like don't like live service games, because every time a live service game gets updated, I have to go back and like try the new update. So it's a little hard to juggle all the stuff. But I would love to play the Fallout London. Looks awesome. I'm gonna try to watch Deadpool. My wife hasn't seen Deadpool 2, and we have a 9-year-old, and I don't really want to bring my son to go watch Deadpool 3. So we have to find someone to watch them first before we can both go see it. The Kodiak Pixel Pro vlogging camera. I'm gonna have to look that up. Can't you only download Fallout London from GOG right now? Yeah, my channel's my name. So 30NSG. I have another channel, but I don't do much on it. It's called Nerding with 30. It's more like entertainment, movies, TV shows, stuff like that. Yeah, Dolphin. Yeah, I don't do that. I know, terrible parent. Topic today is Star Wars Outlaws. Deadpool and Wolverine got awards for the Guinness Book of World Records for what records? The most sarcasm in a film. Thanks, citizen. Yeah, I've been out of the cycle. We just got back this week, so I started getting back into the news cycle and stuff like that. But I was gone for 10 days. I went to South Dakota, did the whole tourist thing over there. Got to see like Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, not the strip club. Have you ever thought about renaming the channel every birthday? No, because technically the channel's name 30. It was originally 30 and Still Gaming, which it is still. But also the NSG stands for News, Shows, and Gaming. And the reason it's 30 and Still Gaming is when I originally started my YouTube channel over a decade ago, it was because I was playing Battlefield Bad Company 2, and I always played first-person shooters. And because I was getting to my 30s, I wanted to find that we had an LFG site that was called 30 and Still Gaming. So then when I went to go find a YouTube channel and typing in all the stuff, I was like, oh, 30 and Still Gaming. And that's why I use it. It's not my age. It was literally because of an LFG site looking for people that were older gamers that you could play with for like the first person shooter games, because I don't like playing with squeakers. So.
Squeakers. All right, let me quickly. Let me do this. I'm just going to copy and paste the cap cards so that I don't mess up.
I have been following the Star Wars shows, but I have not watched the Star Wars shows. So.
He's really missing out.
Yeah, I hear Acolyte's like top quality notch stuff.
Power Mini, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Power of one. Power of two. Power of many.
Come on, dude. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
It's actually the true story on how they ruined Star Wars. The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
That's right. There we go. Okay. I just want to be able to have some semblance of footage here running for us. Okay. Okay. All right. I am going to quickly send a tweet, and then we'll spam the link, and then we'll get going, guys. You guys always get to see the rough start here. All right. Okay. You trying out Miss Freeze and Kill the Justice League? They're asking.
I actually I had to download it again because I deleted it from my hard drive. I am gonna play it just so I could talk about it, right? Because I don't like to talk about stuff that I haven't played or tried. So I'm definitely gonna play it, give it a shot. The traversal looks cool, and not to be punning, like cool because I call her Karen Freeze, not Mrs. Freeze, but
Oh, I mean, I remember saying, if there's going to be a Mr. Freeze type character, I was like, they're probably going to move around like Frozone. I was like, that'll be so fun. But.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
All right, chat. There's a link in chat. So click that link to head over to the new stream, the new discussion. Make sure and smash. Can't talk. Make sure and smash the like button on the way out of this stream. We appreciate you guys so much. And make sure when you get to the new stream, you smash the like button as well. It helps the new one. I'm going to lower the music by 1. Thanks so much for checking out this video. We are sitting down with my good friend Mike, 30 and Still Gaming. He's back on the channel after a little bit of a break with I was taking trips, he was taking trips, but we are back. And we are talking about Star Wars Outlaws gameplay. I was pretty rough on it when they did the new 10 minutes from IGN. I basically was like, this looks bad. This looks worse. Looked like we were seeing some degraded quality. Got a lot of people that saw that video. It did well. A lot of people were agreeing, and then there were people that did not agree with me. But now there's leaked footage, and we're not going to show you the leaked footage, okay? But we're going to talk about the fact that it does look a little bit, it seemingly looks better. I'm going to end the previous stream about gaming news this week and Stalker and everything else and redirect people over. Thank you, everybody who supported that stream as well. So, Mike, I mean, first and foremost, how